Dr. Tae-ho Kim rubbed his tired eyes. He had been studying the strange metal piece for 12 hours straight. The artifact had been found floating at the edge of our solar system. It was not made by human hands. "Dr. Kim, you should rest," said Han, his lab assistant. "The artifact will still be here tomorrow." Tae-ho shook his head. "Something about this doesn't make sense. The metal, it's unlike anything we've seen before." His computer beeped. A message from the United Earth Space Initiative headquarters. Tae-ho opened it and frowned. "What is it?" Han asked. "I don't know. They want me at headquarters right away. Something about an emergency meeting." The drive to UESI headquarters normally took an hour, but today the streets were packed. People stood on sidewalks looking up at the sky. Some were crying. Others were taking pictures. Tae-ho rolled down his window. "What's happening?" he asked a woman nearby. She pointed up. "Look." Tae-ho looked through his windshield at the clear blue sky. At first, he saw nothing unusual. Then he noticed it. A dark shape against the blue. It was massive, blocking out a small part of the sky. It wasn't a cloud. His phone rang. It was Director Song from UESI. "Dr. Kim, where are you? We need you here now. I'm stuck in traffic. What is that thing in the sky?" "It's a ship, Dr. Kim. An alien ship. It appeared in orbit 3 hours ago. It's bigger than anything we've ever built, and they're asking to talk to us." Tae-ho's mouth went dry. "What do they want?" "That's why we need you here. You're our top xenobiologist. You understand alien life better than anyone." When Tae-ho finally reached UESI headquarters, the place was chaos. Military personnel rushed through halls. Scientists huddled in groups, talking in hushed voices. Director Song met him at the entrance. "They've sent us a message," she said, leading him to the main control room. "They call themselves the VAR. They say they come in peace and want to establish contact." "What do they look like?" Tae-ho asked. "See for yourself." The main screen showed a creature that was almost human-like, but wrong in subtle ways. It stood tall and thin with pale skin that seemed to shimmer. Its head was slightly too large, its neck too long. But what caught Tae-ho's attention were the eyes. Large, compound eyes like those of an insect. They didn't blink. Not once. "They've requested a meeting," Director Song said, "and they've asked for you by name." Tae-ho felt a chill run down his spine. "How do they know who I am?" "They say they've been watching us for some time." The next day, Tae-ho found himself in a special meeting room set up for first contact. The air felt too cold. His hand shook slightly as he reviewed his notes. The door opened. 2 VAR entered. They moved with strange grace, like dancers underwater. Up close, their eyes were even more unsettling. Thousands of tiny facets that reflected the room back in miniature. They didn't blink. Not once. "Dr. Tae-ho Kim," said the taller one. Its voice was smooth, almost musical. "I am Elthos, ambassador of the VAR. We have been watching your work with great interest." "How do you know our language?" Tae-ho asked. "We have been observing Earth for many of your years," Elthos said. "Your species is uniquely suited for our purposes." "What purposes?" Director Song asked sharply. Elthos turned those unblinking eyes to her. "Cooperation. Exchange. Mutual benefit." Each word was perfectly pronounced. "We have much to offer humanity, and you have something we value greatly." "What could we possibly have that you would want?" Tae-ho asked. The VAR's mouth curved into what might have been a smile. "Your adaptability, Dr. Kim. Your species' remarkable will to survive against all odds. It is quite fascinating to us." As Tae-ho looked into those compound eyes, he felt a deep unease. The eyes reminded him of something from Earth's history, the cold, calculating gaze of a predator sizing up its prey. "We would like to propose an arrangement," Elthos continued, "one that will change the future of both our species forever." And still, those eyes never blinked. 3 days after first contact, Taiho sat in a large meeting room with world leaders on video screens around him. The VAR ambassador Elthos stood at the center, those unblinking eyes scanning the room. "Our offer is simple," Elthos said. "We will share our technology with humanity. Medicine that can cure your worst diseases. Energy that will never run out. Ships that can travel between stars." The room was silent. Such gifts would change everything for mankind. "What do you want in return?" asked the president of the United World Council. Elthos made that strange, almost smile again. "A cultural exchange. We wish to learn about humans directly. We request 500 of your people to visit our homeworld. Dr. Kim will lead them." Taiho felt his heart beat faster. Him. Why him? Back in his lab, Taiho studied the data from the VAR ship. His research assistant, Jisoo Park, worked quietly nearby. She was young but brilliant, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Dr. Kim," she said suddenly, "I found something strange." She showed him her computer screen. "I've been analyzing the VAR language patterns. There are gaps, inconsistencies." "What do you mean?" Taiho leaned closer. "When they talk about this exchange program, their speech patterns change. It's subtle, but it's there, almost like they're hiding something." Taiho frowned. "Have you told anyone else?" Jisoo shook her head. "Not yet. I wanted to show you first. Keep this between us for now. I need to think." That night, Taiho couldn't sleep. The offer seemed too good to be true. Advanced technology, medical breakthroughs, space travel, all for a simple cultural exchange. His phone beeped with a message. It was from Director Song. "The World Council has accepted the VAR offer. Preparations for the exchange program begin tomorrow." Taiho sighed. It was happening too fast. No one was asking the right questions. The next morning, he found his lab in chaos. Jisoo ran to him as soon as he entered. "They're choosing the 500 people already," she said, her voice tight with worry. "And they've picked me to go too." "What? Who picked you?" "The VAR requested me specifically. They said my linguistic skills would be valuable." Taiho felt uneasy. How did they know about Jisoo's skills? What else did they know? Over the next 2 weeks, the world celebrated the VAR as saviors. They had already shared medical technology that cured 3 previously incurable diseases. People were calling it the dawn of a new age. Only Taiho and Jisoo remained cautious. "Look at this," Jisoo said one evening, showing him her tablet. "I've analyzed every public statement that the VAR have made. They never mention their own history. Not once. Don't you find that strange?" Before Taiho could answer, his computer chimed. A message from an unknown sender. He opened it. "The VAR are not what they seem. They hunt to what they fear. The Bison knows." "What does that mean?" Jisoo asked, reading over his shoulder. "I don't know." Taiho tried to trace the message, but it seemed to come from nowhere. The day before departure, Taiho met with Director Song one last time. "I have concerns about this mission," he told her. "Everything is moving too fast. We know almost nothing about the VAR." Director Song looked tired. "The decision has been made, Dr. Kim. The potential benefits are too great to ignore." "And the potential risks?" She didn't answer. That night, as Taiho packed his things, he received another strange message. "Look into their eyes. The Bison saw death coming." The next morning, 500 chosen humans gathered at the UESI spaceport. The VAR shuttle waited, gleaming in the sun. Taiho stood with Jisoo as they prepared to board. "Are you afraid?" she asked quietly. Taiho watched as Elthos approached them, those compound eyes reflecting the morning light. "Yes," he admitted, "but I'm more afraid of what might happen if we don't go." As they walked toward the shuttle, Taiho couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into the mouth of something hungry. And those eyes never blinked. Not once. The VAR ship was enormous. Tai-Ho and the other 499 humans stood in the main hall, looking up in wonder. The ceiling stretched so high it disappeared into shadows. The walls glowed with soft blue light. "Welcome aboard," Elphos said. "This will be your home for the next 30 days as we travel to our world." The humans were given rooms that seemed to know what they wanted before they did. Beds that adjusted to the perfect firmness. Food that tasted exactly right. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. On the third day, Tai-Ho met Sung Min Lee, a cultural anthropologist with kind eyes and a quiet voice. "What do you think of our hosts?" Sung Min asked as they ate in the ship's dining area. Tai-Ho looked around to make sure no Var were nearby. "They're watching us. All the time." Sung Min nodded. "I've noticed. Have you seen their eyes? They never blink." "Never," Tai-Ho agreed. "I wonder if they can." Later that day, two humans got into a fight over something small. Before anyone could stop them, 3 Var appeared. They didn't break up the fight. They just watched with those unblinking eyes, as if studying the anger. Tai-Ho found it strange. Very strange. That night, he tried to call Earth. The communication system was supposed to allow daily contact, but his call wouldn't connect. "I'm sorry, Dr. Kim," the ship's computer said. "There is a temporary communication problem. Please try again tomorrow." He tried again the next day. Same message. Jisoo found him in the ship's library. "The communications are being blocked," she whispered. "But only certain ones. Happy messages get through. Anything with questions or concerns gets blocked." "How do you know this?" "I've been testing different messages, and I've been watching the Var. They're most interested in us when we show strong emotions, especially fear, anger, or determination." Tai-Ho nodded slowly. "They're studying us. But why?" Over the next week, Tai-Ho, Jisoo, and Sung Min quietly observed the Var. They noticed how the aliens would appear whenever humans argued or showed stress. They saw how the Var collected data on human reactions. In the ship's library, Tai-Ho found something interesting. The Var seemed fascinated by human history, especially wars and disasters. They had collected thousands of accounts of how humans faced terrible odds and survived. One day, Tai-Ho was using the ship's computer system when he saw a file labeled Bison Protocol. His heart beat faster. The mysterious messages had mentioned Bison. He tried to open the file. "Access denied," the computer said. "This information is restricted." Tai-Ho tried several more times, using different approaches. Each time, access denied. That night, he had a nightmare. He dreamed of massive herds of bison running off cliffs, falling to their deaths. In his dream, the bison had human faces, and the hunters had compound eyes that never blinked. He woke up covered in sweat. The next morning, he found Jisoo and Sung Min. "We need to find out what the Bison Protocol is," he told them. "I think it's important. Very important." "I overheard 2 Var talking," Sung Min said quietly. "They were discussing how humans continue fighting even when victory is impossible. One said, 'This is why they are dangerous. This is why the protocol exists.'" Jisoo's eyes widened. "What if they're not studying us for cultural exchange? What if they're studying us for something else?" The ship's speaker system came to life. "Attention, human guests. We will arrive at our destination in 3 days. Please prepare for orientation on the Var homeworld." The 3 friends looked at each other. Time was running out. That night, Tai-Ho managed to hack into a small part of the restricted files. What he found chilled him to the bone. The file contained information about 17 other alien species. All were listed as neutralized. And at the top of the file was a single sentence: "The Bison Protocol. Study, then eliminate." Tai-Ho closed the file, his hands shaking. Now he understood. The bison never saw the cliff until it was too late. But humans weren't bison, and they still had 3 days to do something about it. The Var ship broke through the clouds of their homeworld. Below, a vast landscape spread out. It was beautiful. Forests of strange purple trees, lakes that shimmered like mirrors, cities that seemed to grow from the land itself. "Welcome to Varia," Elthos announced. "Your new home for the next year." The humans gasped and pointed. It was like nothing they had ever seen before. Technology and nature existed side by side. Buildings wrapped around trees. Vehicles moved without touching the ground. As they landed, Taiho whispered to Jisoo and Sungmin, "Remember what we found. Trust nothing they say." The humans were taken to a welcome center. There, Elthos made an announcement. "For the best cultural exchange, you will be divided into smaller groups. Each group will study different aspects of our society." Taiho felt his stomach tighten. They were being separated. Dr. Kim, Jisoo Park, and Sung-Min Lee will join our science division to study evolutionary adaptations, Elthos continued. At least they would stay together. But why these specific assignments? The next day, they were taken to a large building on the edge of the main city. The Center for Evolutionary Studies, their guide called it. Inside, the building was much bigger than it seemed from outside. "This is where we study how different species adapt and survive," the guide explained. "You will help us understand human adaptations." As they toured the facility, Taiho noticed something odd. There were artifacts from many different alien civilizations, strange tools, unusual artwork, samples of unknown materials. "Where did all these come from?" he asked. "From our many friends across the galaxy," the guide said smoothly. But Taiho had seen the files. The VAR didn't have friends. They had victims. That night, in their private quarters, Taiho, Jisoo, and Sung-Min compared notes. "Did you see those artifacts?" Sung-Min asked. Some of them matched the species listed as neutralized in the files. "They're collecting trophies," Jisoo said quietly. "From civilizations they destroyed." A soft knock interrupted them. They froze in fear. The door opened. A VAR stood there, but something was different about this one. Its eyes seemed troubled. "My name is Niven," the VAR said in a low voice. "We must talk quickly. I am risking much by coming here." The three humans stared in shock. "Not all VAR agree with what is happening," Niven continued. "Some of us oppose the Bison protocol." "Tell us what it is," Taiho demanded. Nevin's eyes darted to the door. "The VAR fear other intelligent species, especially those who might one day threaten us. When we find such species, we study them thoroughly, then eliminate them before they can become dangerous." "Like driving Bison off a cliff," Sung-Min whispered. "Yes, it is named after an ancient human hunting technique. We have used this protocol 17 times before." "But why us?" Jisoo asked. "We're not a threat to you." Niven's voice dropped even lower. "You are the most dangerous species we have ever found. Not because of your technology, which is primitive. Not because of your numbers, which are small, but because of how you think." "What do you mean?" Taiho asked. "Humans never surrender. Every other species we've encountered gives up when defeat is certain. But humans," Niven shook his head in what seemed like wonder. "Humans fight harder when hope is gone. This terrifies the VAR leaders." Taiho remembered the ship's library. The VAR's interest in human wars and disasters made sense now. "The Council has already voted," Niven continued. "They are preparing to attack Earth now. The cultural exchange is just to study your weaknesses." "Why are you telling us this?" Sung-Min asked. "Because some of us believe destroying you is wrong, and because I've studied your history. If any species could survive the Bison protocol, it would be humans. How can we stop them?" Taiho asked desperately. Niven looked at them with those strange compound eyes. For the first time, Taiho thought he saw something like respect in them. "I don't know if you can," the VAR said, "but I will help you try." The VAR ship broke through the clouds of their homeworld. Below, a vast landscape spread out. It was beautiful. Forests of strange purple trees, lakes that shimmered like mirrors, cities that seemed to grow from the land itself. "Welcome to Varia," Elthos announced. "Your new home for the next year." The humans gasped and pointed. It was like nothing they had ever seen before. Technology and nature existed side by side. Buildings wrapped around trees. Vehicles moved without touching the ground. As they landed, Taeho whispered to Jisoo and Sungmin, "Remember what we found. Trust nothing they say." The humans were taken to a welcome center. There, Elthos made an announcement. "For the best cultural exchange, you will be divided into smaller groups. Each group will study different aspects of our society." Taeho felt his stomach tighten. They were being separated. "Dr. Kim, Jisoo Park, and Sungmin Lee will join our science division to study evolutionary adaptations," Elthos continued. At least they would stay together. But why these specific assignments? The next day, they were taken to a large building on the edge of the main city. The Center for Evolutionary Studies, their guide called it. Inside, the building was much bigger than it seemed from outside. "This is where we study how different species adapt and survive," the guide explained. "You will help us understand human adaptations." As they toured the facility, Taeho noticed something odd. There were artifacts from many different alien civilizations, strange tools, unusual artwork, samples of unknown materials. "Where did all these come from?" he asked. "From our many friends across the galaxy," the guide said smoothly. But Taeho had seen the files. The VAR didn't have friends. They had victims. That night, in their private quarters, Taeho, Jisoo, and Sungmin compared notes. "Did you see those artifacts?" Sungmin asked. Some of them matched the species listed as neutralized in the files. "They're collecting trophies," Jisoo said quietly, "from civilizations they destroyed." A soft knock interrupted them. They froze in fear. The door opened. A VAR stood there. But something was different about this one. Its eyes seemed troubled. "My name is Niven," the VAR said in a low voice. "We must talk quickly. I am risking much by coming here." The three humans stared in shock. "Not all VAR agree with what is happening," Niven continued. "Some of us oppose the Bison protocol." "Tell us what it is," Taeho demanded. Niven's eyes darted to the door. "The VAR fear other intelligent species, especially those who might one day threaten us. When we find such species, we study them thoroughly, then eliminate them before they can become dangerous. Like driving Bison off a cliff." Sungmin whispered. "Yes. It is named after an ancient human hunting technique. We have used this protocol 17 times before." "But why us?" Jisoo asked. "We're not a threat to you." Niven's voice dropped even lower. "You are the most dangerous species we have ever found. Not because of your technology, which is primitive. Not because of your numbers, which are small. But because of how you think." "What do you mean?" Taeho asked. "Humans never surrender. Every other species we've encountered gives up when defeat is certain. But humans," Niven shook his head in what seemed like wonder. "Humans fight harder when hope is gone. This terrifies the VAR leaders." Taeho remembered the ship's library. The VAR's interest in human wars and disasters made sense now. "The Council has already voted," Niven continued. "They are preparing to attack Earth now. The cultural exchange is just to study your weaknesses." "Why are you telling us this?" Sungmin asked. "Because some of us believe destroying you is wrong, and because I've studied your history. If any species could survive the Bison protocol, it would be humans. How can we stop them?" Taeho asked desperately. Niven looked at them with those strange compound eyes. For the first time, Taeho thought he saw something like respect in them. "I don't know if you can," the VAR said, "but I will help you try." Taeho, Jisoo, and Sungmin moved carefully through the research center the next day. They had to tell the other humans the truth without alerting the VAR. "We need to meet with the group leaders," Taeho whispered as they worked in the lab. "One at a time." Nothing suspicious. Over the next 3 days, they quietly spread the word. At meals, during work breaks, in whispered conversations that wouldn't attract attention. The truth about the Bison Protocol, the planned attack on Earth, the need to act. Some humans didn't believe them at first. Others were too afraid to help. But most understood the danger and agreed to join the resistance. 4 humans from Group C have disappeared. Some men reported one evening. The VAR said they were moved to another facility. But Niven checked. They're in the testing labs. Testing labs. Jisoo asked. What are they doing to them? Niven's eyes darkened. The final phase of study before attack. They are taking them apart to understand how humans work. The room fell silent. The horror of what was happening sank in. We need to move faster, Taeho said finally. Earth has less than a month. With Niven's help, they gained access to restricted areas of the facility. Jisoo worked to establish a hidden communication link with Earth. Some men organized the humans into groups, ready to act when the time came. One night, Taeho discovered something important in the VAR's secure database. Look at this, he told the others, showing them his datapad. The VAR communication system is their weakness. They share thoughts through a kind of hive mind. How does that help us? Jisoo asked. Their minds process information differently than ours. They think in pure logic, no contradictions, no emotional responses. Taeho looked up, excitement in his eyes. What if we overloaded their system with something they can't process? Human emotions, some men said slowly, especially the contradictory ones. Taeho nodded. Hope in hopeless situations, love for enemies, sacrifice without gain. All the things that make no logical sense but are deeply human. Could that really work? Jisoo asked Niven. The VAR seemed uncertain. Perhaps. Our communication system has never encountered such input before. It might cause disruption. Disruption is exactly what we need, Taeho said. If we can confuse their command structure long enough, Earth might have a chance to prepare. They worked through the night, building a device that could capture and transmit human emotional responses directly into the VAR communication system. We'll need a distraction, some men said. Something big enough to keep the guards busy while we access the central hub. Not just a distraction, Taeho replied. A full revolution. All 500 humans acting in ways the VAR can't predict or understand. The next day, as they finalized their plans, alarms sounded throughout the facility. What's happening? Jisoo asked as VAR guards rushed past their lab. Niven slipped in, his compound eyes wide with worry. They've discovered your communication attempts with Earth. The Council has moved up the attack schedule. The sterilization fleet launches tomorrow. Tomorrow. Taeho felt his blood run cold. That's too soon. We're not ready. We have no choice, Sungmin said grimly. We have to act now. Taeho looked at his friends, then at the other humans who had gathered. Fear was in their eyes, but also determination. The very thing the VAR couldn't understand about humans. Then we move tonight, he said. Tell everyone. When the facility lights dim for night cycle, the resistance begins. As they separated to spread the word, Taeho thought about the bison from the ancient human hunting stories. How they never saw the cliff coming until it was too late. But humans weren't bison. They saw the danger ahead, and they would fight back with everything they had. Even if they couldn't win, they would show the VAR exactly why humans were the most dangerous species they had ever encountered. The human revolution began at dawn. All across the research facility, humans stopped following orders. Some sat in silence. Others sang loudly. Some laughed without reason. The VAR guards didn't know what to do. It's working, Jisoo told Taeho through their hidden communicator. The VAR are confused by our unpredictable behavior. Taeho nodded as he moved through an empty hallway with Sungmin. According to Niven's map, the central communication hub was just ahead. This was where all VAR shared thoughts and information through their hive mind. Remember, Taiho whispered to Sungmin. The VAR can't understand why humans fight when there's no hope. We need to show them that feeling. Alarms began to sound throughout the facility. The VAR had realized something was wrong. "Attention all humans," a voice announced. "Return to your quarters immediately. Resistance is futile. You cannot escape." But no one listened. Instead, more humans joined the resistance. Some blocked doors. Others created distractions. All were following the plan Taiho and his friends had shared secretly over the past few days. In another part of the facility, Jisoo led a group of 20 humans to the detention area. There, they found 5 humans who had disappeared days earlier. They were weak but alive. "The VAR were studying how we respond to isolation," one of the rescued humans explained. "Now they'll learn how we respond to threats," Jisoo said as they helped the weakened humans to safety. Meanwhile, Taiho and Sungmin reached the communication hub. 2 VAR guards stood at the entrance. "Now," Taiho whispered. From around the corner, several humans appeared, singing loudly and dancing. The VAR guards turned, their compound eyes fixed on this strange behavior. They were so confused that they didn't notice Taiho and Sungmin slip past them into the hub. Inside, the room was filled with glowing panels. At the center was a large crystal that pulsed with light. "That's it," Sungmin said, "the central node of their hive mind." Taiho pulled out the device Niven had helped them build. It was designed to connect to the crystal and feed it the one thing the VAR couldn't process: the full range of human emotions, especially hope in the face of certain doom. "Hurry," Sungmin urged. "The guards will realize soon." As Taiho worked to connect the device, a message came through from Niven. "The attack on Earth has begun," his voice said through their communicator. "The VAR fleet has launched." Taiho's hands shook, but he kept working. "How long until they reach Earth?" 12 hours, Niven replied. "But I've managed to send a warning to your world. They are preparing defenses." Taiho knew Earth's defenses wouldn't be enough against the VAR's advanced technology. Their only hope was to disrupt the VAR command structure. "It's ready," he told Sungmin, connecting the final wire. The device began to pulse. The crystal at the center of the room changed color, from blue to red to purple. "What did you feed into it?" Sungmin asked. "Every human emotion we could record," Taiho explained. "Fear and courage existing together, despair and hope side by side, love in the face of death. All the contradictions that make us human." On screens around the room, they could see VAR throughout the facility stopping in confusion. Some grabbed their heads. Others simply froze in place. "The VAR brain can't process emotional contradictions," Taiho explained. "Their hive mind requires logical consistency. Human emotions don't work that way." Suddenly, the door burst open. Elthos stood there, his eyes fixed on Taiho. "What have you done?" the VAR ambassador demanded. "We've shown you who we really are," Taiho answered calmly. Elthos moved toward them, but then stopped, his body trembling. The contradicting emotions flowing through the hive mind were affecting him too. "You cannot defeat us," Elthos said, his voice shaking. "We are superior in every way." "Except one," Taiho replied. "You never learned how to lose. Humans have been learning that lesson our entire history, and yet, we never give up." The crystal pulsed brighter as more human emotions flooded the VAR hive mind. And all across space, the VAR attack fleet began to falter as their commanders lost the ability to think clearly. The Bison were fighting back. The VAR homeworld was in chaos. The crystal at the heart of their communication system glowed with blinding intensity as human emotions flooded the hive mind. All across the planet, VAR stumbled and fell, overwhelmed by feelings they had never experienced. In orbit above Earth, the VAR attack fleet drifted aimlessly. Without clear commands, they could not complete their mission. Back in the communication hub, Taiho faced Elthos. The VAR ambassador had managed to resist some of the emotional overflow, but his movements were jerky and unstable. You have damaged our network, Elthos said, his voice strangely flat. But you cannot stop us forever. We will recover. Not before Earth has time to prepare, Taiho replied. We've sent all your technology data to our world. They'll be ready for you next time. Elthos tilted his head, those compound eyes fixed on Taiho with terrible intensity. Why do you continue fighting? The Var asked. Our calculations showed your defeat was certain. Your resistance is not logical. Jisoo arrived, entering the hub with several other humans. That's what you never understood about us, she said to Elthos. Humans don't always do what's logical. More Var guards entered the room, but they moved slowly, confused by the emotional storm in their minds. The rescue ships from Earth are coming, Neven announced as he hurried into the hub. They received our message and are sending help. Traitor, Elthos hissed at Neven. You have betrayed your own kind. No, Neven replied. I have saved us from becoming monsters. The Bison protocol was wrong. We had no right to destroy other species. The crystal pulsed again, and Elthos fell to his knees. When he looked up, his compound eyes seemed different somehow, less certain. I don't understand, the Var ambassador said. You knew you could not win, yet you fought anyway. Why? Taiho stepped forward. Because that's what humans do. We hope when there is no reason to hope. We fight when we cannot win. We love what we know we will lose. It is not rational, Elthos insisted. No, Taiho agreed. It's human. The screens around the room showed Earth ships approaching the confused Var fleet, not attacking, but surrounding them, forcing their surrender. It's over, some men said. Earth is safe. 3 months later, Taiho stood in a great hall on Earth. Representatives from both worlds were signing a new peace treaty. It was not the treaty the Var had planned. This time, humans negotiated from a position of strength. Elthos was there, changed by his exposure to human emotions. The Var Council had been dissolved, replaced by leaders who opposed the Bison protocol. We have much to learn from each other, Elthos said to Taiho after the signing. Your species has shown us something we never understood before. What's that? Taiho asked. That true strength comes not from perfect logic, but from continuing to hope and fight even when all seems lost. Later that day, Taiho met with Jisoo and Sungmin at a quiet park. They looked up at the sky, knowing that Var ships were now up there, not as invaders but as cautious allies. Do you think they'll ever really understand us? Jisoo asked. Maybe not entirely, Taiho replied. But they respect us now. They fear us less because they understand us more. The irony, Sungmin said with a smile, is that the very thing they feared about us, our unpredictability, our refusal to give up, is what saved both our species. Taiho nodded and looked up at the stars. He remembered the strange message he had received months ago. The Bison's eyes never blinked, even after it tore them apart. Now he understood. The Bison in the story wasn't humanity being driven off a cliff. The Bison was humanity itself, fierce, unstoppable, and unblinking in the face of danger. The Var had tried to tear humans apart, but even then, humanity had not blinked, had not wavered, had not surrendered. And in that unblinking courage, both species had found a new future. We were never the prey, Taiho said quietly. We were always the Bison. Above them, the stars twinkled like countless unblinking eyes, watching the new alliance with ancient patience. The universe would never be the same.